These are Baltimore City row houses, various styles of row houses, built in the late 19th and early 20th century. Mostly 2 stories, modest in size, but big enough for families with children. Houses for families to buy and live in, or to rent from the owner, on lots that are small, but have little backyards, and sun coming in at certain times of the day. Starter homes for some, for others, homes for a lifetime. For families new to Baltimore and families whose roots go back 100 years. Dense row house blocks like these contribute to the essential physical and social infrastructure of Baltimore City. And yet, in September of 2024, someone managed to get Baltimore City's planning department to propose a very different land use policy for these row house blocks in the North Baltimore neighborhood of Remington, to prep them for future rezoning so that the city, instead of continuing to preserve these as modest, intact row house blocks, can see them broken up into apartments and commercial spaces, with structures rising as high as 68 feet and built out to the alleyways. For the City Council to adopt this proposal would be to impose a massive change on these blocks. No more required backyards. No more 35-foot height limit. Most properties eligible to jump from 1 unit to 3, and commercial spaces. So who asked for this dramatic reversal of policy? Why were the affected homeowners not informed? And why target their blocks in particular, instead of other row house blocks in the neighborhood? The planning department has not produced any documentation to show how this proposal came about. And when asked how many homeowners on those blocks actually requested these changes, the planning department responded that the question is not applicable. So where is the explanation? Where is the logic? The rationale? It appears to be contained in an October 9, 2024 letter in support of the proposed land use map that targets these specific blocks. The letter is from Greater Remington Improvement Association, a 501c3 nonprofit that says it wants continued growth. The letter claims that continued growth in Remington is a goal of the comprehensive plan, but the comprehensive plan does not identify Remington as a growth area. Even if it did, the comprehensive plan says the city has, quote, enough vacant and underutilized land to build nearly 70,000 new units based on today's zoning map and regulations, end quote. These blocks of row houses are not vacant or underutilized land for growth. New apartments and commercial spaces have been developed in Remington without the wholesale cannibalization of existing row houses. So who looks at these dense row house blocks and views them as an opportunity for more apartments plus commercial spaces? Whose plan is it anyway? And why would the planning department promote it? Could it be because the president of the Greater Remington Improvement Association also serves on another board with the director of the city's planning department? They serve together on the steering committee of the Central Baltimore Partnership, an influential 501c3 umbrella organization. It's a relationship that was not disclosed in that letter. Something else that was not disclosed: the president of the Greater Remington Improvement Association's ownership interest in one of the row house properties proposed for this dramatic change in land use policy. That interest should have been acknowledged in the support letter that bears his signature. This may not explain why this specific proposal is before the City Council, how it got there, and why the owners of the affected row houses were not notified. But it provides relevant context. How could anyone who truly cares about the future of this neighborhood look at these blocks of row houses as something to break up? These blocks are fine just the way they are. If allowed to remain this way, they will continue to provide homes and home ownership opportunities for a diversity of families. They will continue to contribute to the lifeblood of the city and be a source of vitality and prosperity. There is no good reason to change the land use policy for these blocks. Growth that depends on the cannibalization of existing row house blocks is simply not good policy.